Efan sat in the back of the classroom, gnawing on the end of his ink stylus. The teacher was droning on, pacing around the holograph hanging in the air in the semicircle of desks. The rusty brown and olive-colored world slowly rotated, and the teacher paced to keep up with it, gesturing here and there. Antinuisistim, Argoshandim, Calypsodim, Suryaperdim, Penistheliadim, coffee, carpets, bauxite. He yawned. The windows were open and there was a bee-eater in the ilex outside. It snapped its wings and bobbed its head. He watched it flirt its parti-colored feathers, then drop out of sight, fast and fierce like a killer drone. A line of clouds was coming in over the sciences building. He narrowed his eyes at it. Weather had said there might be rain this afternoon. He glanced at the clock and wondered if that would cancel Fielder's practice. Ugh, he muttered to himself. They had the games with West Helioshad men's on 6th day, and they couldn't afford to miss more practices. Head had barred them on Wednesday because of the fight behind the Fielder's pitch last 5's day after school. Efan ran his hands through his gold hair, holding a stylus between his teeth. The globe was frustrating. The teacher was pointing here and there, and the surface glowed one color and then another as he said names, rattled facts, and moved on before Efan could focus on them. It was just a lot of words. Hadn't they talked about this stuff some other time? He drew with his stylus in his notebook, a long-legged boy in shin guards wielding his bat. Long, sharp. He switched the ink to red, East's colors. Red switched to green. Click, click, click. The Pilko was coming across the pitch. He scraggled in green grass around the Pilko. He imagined himself swinging the bat. The crack as it connected, the Pilko bouncing back down the pitch toward West's double forward, Ludo. He gritted his teeth. He'd like the bat to connect with Ludo's face instead. No, the Pilko would leap and go over West's backman as they leaped for it past the goaler. Mardonius! It wasn't the first time the teacher had said it either. Efan knew it. Fuck, he said. Sir? He looked up, attempting to look intelligent. Well, he said thoughtfully. The teacher's hair and nostrils flared. Zarvanipir's major industrial output? Eh? Zarvanipir's major industrial output, he repeated, fighting for time. The old man must have just said it. His eyes flickered across the semicircle of desks. His friend Ardalan met his eyes, lifted his hand to scratch his cheek, and then tapped his thumbnail on his spectacles lens. Is glass, he said. He looked at the globe. Zarvatiperdim, currently flickering green, was poised along the Kaiselex, which made sense. Why? The teacher said sharply. Efan pointed. The Kaiselex, he said, as if it were elementary. Exposed silicon deposits, thousands of square kilometers of volcanic sands. Here, I thought you weren't paying attention. Efan smiled innocently. Dead volcanoes throughout the region, of course, from whence it was ejected 1 billion years ago. Any live volcanism anyone can think of? Anywhere? Baruch. Sir? Efan slumped back. He drew details on the shin guard. Laces. Stitching. Someone threw a pellet of paper at him. Valand, probably. He automatically gave a 3-fingered curse over his shoulder, and someone else laughed. Trouble at lunch, then. They might try to stick Ardlin in a dustbin and start effing fighting for the match. He sighed, yawned. How about hot springs? The teacher said desperately. Think, Baruch. Yeah, Baruch said faintly. Where, man? Efan looked out the window again. The bee-eater was back, something the tip of its bill. The something was swallowed into the bird, and its feathers shimmied. What had housekeeper called bee-eaters? The garden was full of them. Some old Agrios word. Oh, yeah, he murmured, changing the ink to black and sketching the merest outline of the creature. The Dardana.